I know you knew him obviously
Yeah.
before, but
Yeah.
getting back together, is that part of?
That's been a lot of fun, and that's where I get my most enjoyment is watching him put in the time and effort to improve in that area, and then you see glimpses, and now we got to be more consistent with that approach on the field, transferring it from the newsroom
What
to
do you
game
say?
day.
Sorry, what do you say to him before overtime in that game?
Oh, we're very specific. We go through the exact situation. We practice it. I mean, we went through fall camp practicing overtime, and so you don't try to. They're motivated. They're locked in, but you make them aware of the situation and come up with a few key coaching points, maybe about the next play or the sequence that's about to transpire on the field. But no, when you practice, you're going to play the way you prepare, and we were prepared for that moment.
How much did you get a chance to have a conversation with him?
Sorry about that.
With him on the sideline, getting treated there before that, how much did you have much of a conversation with him?
That was a good conversation. It was more just about to get a gauge on where he's at, on how he's moving. That way we have an idea of maybe a different play selection or not. And at that moment, we were full go with our minion.
Looking back at it, that 3rd and 6 on your opening drive of the second half, I guess it's the back shoulder fade to Kelly down the sideline. On 3rd down by a touchdown opening drive, how big was that pass at that moment?
Oh, it was huge.
Facing a blitz too. Right?
Oh yeah, no, it was a big time play, and the cool thing that transpired earlier in the game is we had the same leverage with the receiver and DB, and then we threw it too far in front, and we came back. He knew it right away. We saw it on film, and he goes, "Yeah, I know exactly where I need to put that ball." And then to see it happen later in the game, he was able to make that happen, and that was pretty neat.
And doing the recognition on time, the one that he missed earlier, could he have done that a split second earlier?
Yeah, he could have for sure. So our strike point was a little off on that one, but he adjusted and made the play when we needed it.
How in looking at the tape from him last year, and I know how much you looked at it, but through 2 games, how has his pocket presence been in terms of maintaining it, but then kind of picking and choosing the spots to run?
I think he's improved in that area a lot. A major point was to make sure that he's not getting too far out of the pocket. I think that we've cleaned that piece up. And there's still times where he's athletic, and you don't want to take the playmaking ability out of him either. But now the consistency is what we're focused on within the pocket, and we're seeing more of it. But we still got some areas to improve.
That 2-point play in particular, how much when you can sprint him out that way, how much is that? Have you noticed that sucking and diverting defenses towards him because they got to put eyes on him?
Yeah, they do, and we do. We attempt to marry the run of the pass with our whole approach to our system, and when you're able to run the ball as effectively as we have been able to, and then you have a running quarterback, you got to pick your poison on how you're going to defend it. And he was great with his timing on that play, and that we ran. It was the same exact play we ran for the touchdown, just a different formation in the first overtime period. And so his clock was on point, found the fullback, and then this one here, they covered it up, and he reset and found his next read. So, yeah, he was seeing it well.
As just an observer, see a play like Nick Marsh catching that ball on 3rd down and dragging guys into the end zone. I guess what's your reaction to that? And what is it like being a quarterback coach when you got a receiver that goes in at halftime and says, "Oh, he wants the ball"?
Oh, I want to get it to him. So we have confidence in all of our skill players, and I do think that that's been a huge off-season improvement for us in the way that our guys have been able to recruit and get some more talent here. And you just love the competitiveness in a guy like Nick and the other guys feeding off of that energy because everybody sees it. And so it's a huge momentum boost for us.
I've always been impressed how direct Aiden is, and he doesn't cuts through a lot of red tape, you could say, politely. I'm curious, as a coach, is that easier to coach someone that's direct like that, or does it sometimes create its own challenges?
That's the type of communication I want. I have to have that with him. And so for me, everything I try to pose questions rather than giving him the answers so that I know exactly what he's thinking. And so no, we have to have that open line of communication, and that's the way that we're building the room together with all the quarterbacks.
Is that something with recruits that you look for as well? As
100%.
This guy has to.
Yes. Yeah.
Were you out there scouting him on the field, like in high school?
I did not go on the road to recruit
Okay.
Aiden. I was involved behind the scenes, phone conversations.
Lindgren did, though, right?
Yeah, Lindgren went out and spotted
What do you
him.
remember the conversation when you got back after seeing him?
When I got back to Michigan State?
Well, no, when out in Oregon State, when you guys were going hard after him, recruiting. process?
When he made the trip to campus, then it's more about, okay, what does he know on the board? Where's he at? What did they run offensively in high school? How was he able to process? We'll have a full highlight reel of his high school clips, and I'm asking him to take me through what he sees, how they teach it, how does he learn? So it's more of we make the evaluation on film, and then we got to do a deep dive and see, is this the kind of guy that we can work with, and where is he at in his level of development mentally? And that's those. It's not the final check, but that's a big piece of, once we get him on campus, what we're looking for.
Was there any sliding scale knowing his age at that point too, and knowing he would be coming in as young as he was?
You know, I don't think so at that point in time, because socially he was mature enough to handle the conversations, and going back to your question, you know, he wasn't afraid to ask what he doesn't know. And I just think that that's a huge, huge upside to a quarterback when they're not afraid to ask what they don't know. And he handled himself well on the visit. We have our team, I mean, they're evaluating him. We get feedback from all of our hosts on the visits, and you know, is he our kind of guy? And if he's not, and we hear that from the players, then usually we're moving on. So there's a lot to the process as a whole for recruiting.
The options he has when he gets to the line, and forgive me at the very beginning if you meant, there was a play in overtime where he seemed to check into a run. He was either doing that or faking out the defense there. Does he have two plays there he can do? What are his options when he gets to?
We have the ability to do that within our system,
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
Okay.
So yeah.
Was that something he saw there? Was that something that was in his ear when you guys went to that run with Frazier, that 13-yard run?
Maybe. But he does have the option. We have options: run to run, pass to pass, pass to run to pass, audibles. It is a very much a pro style system, and so for the quarterback, they have to be able to come up, read numbers, read leverage, where are they rotating, work away from DBs, whatever our checks are for that week. They have to know what the defense looks like and get us in the right position. And he missed a few in week 1, and then this game here, he was on point with all of those.
John, you mentioned earlier the run game sort of picking up some traction. When you look with that piece coming along, is this offense sort of inching closer to where you guys had it at Oregon State near the end when it was kind of rolling? Is that the piece that sort of needs to take it to that next level to get the offense really?
I think there's
blooming?
a lot to it, but that's definitely that first step. You know, we've got to establish our identity, and once we do that, then everything plays off of it, and it opens up the playbook even more. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We still have some work to do for sure, but we're heading in the right direction.
About this, you spent time at the FCS level. When you're preparing an FCS team to make a trip like this, how did you motivate them? Was there any need to motivate them, and how do they? I guess now that you're on the other side of it, you played some of those teams. How do you keep your guys from getting overconfident, knowing that there are good players in that?
I think a lot of us coaches have been on both sides of the ball here, with coaching at lower levels, playing upper schools, and playing at the upper level and coaching against lower divisions. And at the end of the day, it is truly, and I can't speak for them, but it is truly about us. And the areas where we're at in our point in time and our process to continue to develop, it's about us. And that's my focus. It's tunnel vision right here. It's about us, and we play the next opponent, and they're darn good. I mean, they got a great first level. They got 2 guys, number 90 and I think it's 3, Wells and Curry. They're solid on the first level. They present challenges. Second level, those backers are solid. You got Marshall and I think it's number 5. Those guys are aggressive. They fit the run well. And 39, the nickel transferred, Dane from Tulsa. He's a problem. He's nasty. I love watching him play. He gives great effort. And then they're solid in the back end, and the way that they're coached, they're disciplined. So to me, this is a great opportunity for us to continue to go out and play against a really good opponent and see where we're at in our next stage of development. So, you know, I don't get caught up in that. You know, for me, it's right here where we're at with us on our team, and then we move forward.
How does that level help, you know, with the portal changes and everything? I mean, everybody, it's kind of like pecking order, and I mean, you guys do your due diligence on a guy like Connor or Caleb, but when you're looking at that guy from that level, I mean, how has that helped maybe the power programs in the development they're getting there?
There's good players every level. There's players at every level that can play here for us, and we're seeing that with Connor now. And he came in here and he's able to earn a starting job. And so, you know, when you start to look at it now from a recruiting standpoint, I'm not looking at their roster to see who I could recruit. but there's definitely that piece of it that sticks out to you. It's like, oh, this guy can play, you know. So, but from a standpoint of just overall talent, they're all over. They really are. I think it's neat because now they get to see and they have an opportunity that maybe they didn't have before.
We heard about Alessio all offseason, but we didn't hear as much about Ryland or Leo. Just where's that, after 2, where's that picture at right now?
Right now, Aiden's a starter. Alessio, we have more confidence in him than ever. He was put in a tough situation in that first game, and he'll bounce back from that, and he'll learn from it. But I have no concerns about Alessio at all. And then right now, Leo is the number 3 currently. He's operating on a high level with being able to process and execute what we're asking him to do offensively. And then Ryland is still, we're developing him, and he's sharp, and he gives us a good look right now on the service team, and hopefully we get him back in the mix on that as well.
With Aiden Childs, I think a lot of people saw a lot of heart from him in that game.
Yeah.
I imagine you guys have seen him practice a little bit, or did he show you guys a little bit too, in terms of what's inside him?
You know, and I love his personality. I love how open he is, and he is, I've said this before, he connects well with people, and he does wear his emotions on his sleeve, and sometimes maybe a little too much, but it's all in good faith. And you know, he earned that moment to celebrate, and I was glad that he took advantage of that. And it goes back to just the relationship, going to the recruiting process. From the very first time we had him on campus, the connection that he and my son made. Well, then after the game, he and my son are connecting. And so moments like that, he earned that opportunity. And then for me to be a part of that, and then my son to be a part of that at the end of the game with a big hug, that's what it's about.
That was your son that he's picking up in the photo?
That was, yeah.
Okay.
How'd that make you feel when you saw that?
Oh, I was tearing up almost, you know. Now he might have said a bad word or two. Followed up with, I love you.
You guys good, Coach?
One more. Jonathan Smith, your history with him, where did that all begin? Where did you first meet him?
When he brought me on at Oregon State. When he gave me that opportunity, that was the first time I connected with him. I knew Coach Lindgren before that, and that was how I was introduced into that
Just
program.
phone call type?
Well,
situation?
Brian and I, yeah, we had known each other when he was at Colorado, UNC, and then it led to phone calls and then a couple visits.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.